Hi Year 11, it's Miss Saul again. This is the second video that we've set you for Friday the 18th of September. And if you remember, I asked you at the end of the last video if you could have a printed copy, if at all possible, of the speech waggle that is on Show My Homework. If you can't, I know we're in trying times and not everyone has access to a printer easily. But if you can, that'd be great, because I am going to talk you through some key features that you can then annotate so that you understand what makes it successful. So just as I said at the end of last video, we're going to look at the waggle. In response to this question, young people should focus on education. School students should not be allowed to have jobs. Write a speech to your school's governors in response to this statement. And as I said, if you remember, we'll be given a statement in the exam and you need to decide whether you're going to agree or argue against it. You're going to pick a side. This video is going to talk you through the ethos first section of the waggle. So we're going to make notes on your copy if you've managed to get a copy in front of you to understand the different elements of the ethos section, what makes it successful. Okay, so just so you know, the answer argues against this statement. So the waggle speech basically gives all of the reasons why allowing school students to have a job, particularly in Year 11 is the focus of the speech, is a good idea. Okay, so allowing them to have a job is a good idea. That they're arguing against the claim. So ethos section, just as a quick reminder, it's the introduction. So you're saying who you are, why we should listen to you, why you feel that this is an important issue, and that you've considered not just how it impacts yourself, but actually a large number of people, either the whole nation or certainly a whole generation of people or a group of people like that. You're making it very clear what you're arguing for, not just what you're arguing against, but actually what you want to therefore have or see happen. Okay, so for instance, in the case of that statement, it said, you know, school students shouldn't be allowed to have jobs. It's sort of suggesting that perhaps your governors might have been thinking of banning students from having jobs. So what you're arguing for in this case is for governors not to ban students from having jobs. And you need to persuade them why having a job is actually beneficial to them. So you need to get on your high horse. You need to get a bit passionate about why this is important, not just to you, but to a large number of people. And as I said last time, there's techniques that often work well here are the rhetorical question, hyperbole and imperative. But as I said, it's not, it doesn't mean that you can't use any of the other there's techniques ever. It's just that quite commonly you see these being used more than any other in the ethos section. So the ethos section then of our speech reads as this. Okay, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sitting here in our school hall for another governor's meeting, I know that you are all people who are committed to education. Some of you might even have children who come to this school, and so you are sitting here because you want the best for young people in the local community or local area. Let's be clear, we're talking about young people like me. I work hard. I rarely get into trouble in class. I complete most of my homework and I attend extra classes after school and at weekends. However, I also have a job working at the bar in the White Horse, a local pub that I'm sure some of you might know. And when my day starts with tutor time, which is about GCSEs, which is followed by 4 classes, which are all about GCSEs, and then my evenings are spent in my bedroom revising for my GCSEs, my job is essential. It stops me going mad. We live in a world where exam results put too much pressure on young people like me, pushing out the opportunity to have a social life or to learn other vital skills to the side. And for that reason, I strongly oppose the idea of banning paid work for Year 11 students. So that's how it reads. I'm now going to pull apart and sort of zoom in onto certain sections of it that demonstrate the key bits of ethos that are going on in this. So firstly, so annotating your copy as we go, you can pause me whenever you like. This bit here, let's be clear, we're talking about young people like me. I work hard, I rarely get into trouble at class. So I'm talking about me, I'm introducing who I am. Okay, so this is where you introduce yourself, making it clear who you are, in this case, a person who has an interest in the topic being debated. Okay, so why is it that you're talking about this? Well, because it does affect you, or you do feel passionately about it, but it's not just about the fact that it affects you. Later on, we do also then talk about we live in a world where it affects a lot of people in different ways. So this is the first part of Ethos, is introducing yourself and why you feel this is an important issue, okay? The next bit then is making it clear what you are arguing for. So this all leads to the last line where it says, and that for that reason, for all of this that I've just said, I strongly oppose the idea of banning paid work for year 11s. We want to be able to work, okay? So I'm here today to convince you not to ban work outside of school for year 11s, not to ban them from having a job. So making it clear in the first paragraph, this is actually quite late in the ethos. Often it comes earlier than this so that your reader very quickly knows what you're arguing for. But making it clear what you're arguing for is really important. Then we've got this bit. So this is where we're getting on our high horse. We're making it clear why you are arguing for this and why it's important. Okay, so when my day starts with tutor time about GCSEs and 4 classes which are all about GCSEs, and then my evenings are spent in my bedroom revising for my GCSEs, my job is essential. It stops me going mad. So we're getting on a high horse by pointing out that life is all about GCSEs for year 11. But it's also clearly showing that having a job is important because it's important for this person's mental health. It stops me going mad. So again, it's emphasizing the importance of this issue. All right. So these are sort of the key ingredients of ethos. Introduce who you are, introduce what you're arguing for, and make it clear why this is essential. Why is it important that what you want to see happen, whether it's the banning of something or whether it's the changing of something or whether it's that you want to see a new law put in place. You need to make it really clear why it's really important, and not just to you, but to everyone. Okay, so those techniques are also used in ethos, as I said before, and so I just want to illustrate some that have been used here. So we've got hyperbole here. My job is essential. Well, you're not going to die without it, so it's not actually essential. It's slightly over-exaggerated there. It stops me going mad. There's a good debate as to whether you would actually have gone mad if you didn't have a job. So it's hyperbole, but it's used effectively here. And it's important to understand how it's used. It's used to emphasize how important the speaker feels her job is to her mental health, to keeping mentally well, to feel that life isn't just about the stress and the pressure of exams. So she's emphasizing why she really feels having a job isn't really important to her. It's also an example of emotive language, especially the bit where it says it stops me going mad, because it's used to make us feel motivated to let her continue to have a job, as we don't want to be the ones to have a negative, that should say, effect. We don't want to be the ones that actually negatively impact her mental health by banning her from having a job. So it emotively pulls on our heartstrings and manipulates us, if you like, to start to agree with her, because we don't want to be the ones that perhaps actually has a negative effect on her mental health and well-being. And then finally, we've got this we live in a world where, so this mature viewpoint phrase, which are commonly used. In fact, if you watch the Leonardo DiCaprio video, the UN video that I made mention of last video, he uses it. We live in a world where, and then he goes on to tell us the situation that we're currently in. What it shows is that the speaker, the person writing or speaking, is considering the wider significance this issue has. So it doesn't just affect her, just doesn't affect the one person. It suggests that many are affected throughout the world or throughout the country, and therefore we should care and listen, because it might affect us too, and certainly affects a number of people. So it's quite an important issue. So this is a really good use of a mature viewpoint phrase. Often you find this one in particular in ethos, where we're introducing the issue at hand, we're introducing what we're arguing for and the situation we're finding ourselves in and what we need to do to change it or make it better. Okay, so those are the kind of ingredients that go into ethos to make it quite successful. And that's basically your ethos paragraph. It's setting up your argument, if you like. You're not yet giving any evidence to suggest that you're right. You're not logically providing facts and statistics and explaining what they demonstrate. That's later on. This is about laying down what you believe, why you believe it, not just for yourself, but for a large number of people in the world or in the country, and why it is really important, okay, both for you and for other people. All right, so that's the purpose of Ethos. So I'm hoping you've made some good notes on your copy. As I said before, you could pause me, but you can also rewind to any section, any slide, and get your notes down. We've also, so that's my emails. We've also uploaded this PowerPoint in PDF form, so it is on Show My Homework for you to look through too. So if you would just like to have the PDF in front of you and work your way through it to make your notes on your Waggle, that's fine too. So next week, we will talk you through the Logos section of the Waggle, plus the Pathos and conclusion. We'll get to that next week as well, so that you fully understand what goes into each section before we talk about how we would then go about planning those sections and eventually writing one. So that's what we're doing next week. If you want more to do before then, okay, there's a really good thing that you can do, because obviously you need to know your there's techniques really well. You need to know your mature viewpoint phrases really well, and start thinking about which part of Ethos, Logos, Pathos, conclusion they might work well in. So you know already we live in a world where it works really well with Ethos. And also you can do your vocabulary, because we've deliberately picked out some words that really help you to emphasize the importance of whatever it is that you're arguing for and why you're against certain other ideas. So using the knowledge organizer, which is also attached to this homework, make some revision cards. So just cutting up pieces of paper or bits of card would be even more ideal for the key vocabulary, the mature viewpoint phrases, and the there's technique. So I've done one for you here so you can see the kind of thing I'm talking about. On one side, on the front, you have the particular there's technique, and then on the back you have the definition of it, which is on the knowledge organizer, and an example. And so later on you can actually use this for revision, where people can test you, or you can test yourself to ensure that you understand all of the vocabulary, the mature viewpoint phrases. You can remember those. So you could have on the front for mature viewpoint phrases a phrase that is missing some words, and then have the words on the back so you can try and remember. And obviously the there's technique. So if you're looking for more to do before Monday, you could start making your revision cards. All right, guys, thank you for bearing with me. I hope this was useful and you can start to see how to structure, and we will work on this more next week. But in the meantime, take care, and we'll speak to you soon. Thanks. Bye.